Sunday, Sunday.
Sunday papers with Greg and Mike.
Sunday, Sunday.
Fuck yourself, go take a hike.
Sunday, Sunday.
We don't need no facts, we don't get it right.
Sunday, Sunday.
Blondie looks good, that ass looks tight.
Read all about it. Read it. Learn it. Share it. Have something to talk about at brunch. It's the Sunday papers.
There. I can't believe those aren't scripted every week.
Just off the top of my head. Just boom.
That's how you do it? You just come up with brunch because Sunday? I don't know
Yeah.
how you made the leap to that. Okay.
Do you remember having brunches? I remember being in my 20s in New York City and getting together for brunch at a sports bar with a bunch of friends. What was better than that? Then you finish up and you go to like the film forum and you see a foreign movie and you feel like a real New Yorker.
No, I remember when you were a woman in the 90s.
Hey, now. Come on.
Yeah. And it was rosé all day. You were ahead of the curve.
It is a very gay. Brunch has become a very gay thing, I think, because the gays don't have children. Well, they do now. Now they're giving them children, and but back then they had a lot of disposable income and time.
Well, you know what the funny thing is calling someone gay, right? When you're lightheartedly trying to criticize them, but especially among woke gentlemen like us. We would call the gay, like, it would be like, well, I don't know, what are you doing tomorrow? I don't know, I think I might get up early, work out, and then, like, do a brunch, and then maybe go see something fun. Be like, oh, gay? What are you, gay?
Yeah.
Like,
right.
you're doing, like, cool things and taking care of yourself?
Yeah, right,
you gay?
right. I'm gonna spend over $12 on a haircut. Oh, you gay. Hey, Denman, by the way, you're on my screen, Denman. Can you take your video off the video?
Speaking of...
How do we get rid of them?
Maybe it was a New York thing, too, because, I don't know. I mean, this is very much stereotyping, but at least I guess it's positive. But so many gays just had their shit together, you know what I mean? And we're doing, like, just really positive things. And, of course, it's kind of like criticizing kids who study.
Yeah, because
we didn't feel good about our choices.
I almost feel like that during the pandemic is like the people that tried, the people that did shit, like Bo Burnham doing an hour-and-a-half long special that he lit, shot, edited, produced himself. That's apparently really fucking good. Like, I feel like that's pretty gay. Like, we were all supposed to take the year off. It's almost like in a car race, if there's a crash and they wave the yellow flag, no passing. You're not allowed to accelerate.
I love that. Yep. I love that theory of yours. I like that a lot.
Yeah, I feel
like... It was
like...
supposed to be a pause. It was supposed to be a pause, everybody.
Yep. It was a trust thing. We were trusting each other that nobody would jump ahead in the line. And I certainly kept my place. I didn't push it at all.
I think I fell behind. And that's probably not allowed.
It is.
I maybe pumped the brakes a little too much.
Yeah, I look at this year and like I'm out doing stand-up again, and I have some new material. I've got like 20 minutes of new material. I should have an hour and a half of new material.
Hey, by the way, just a little feather in my cap. I was the first to put Bo Burnham on television.
No shit.
Yeah, Spike Feresten and I. Spike Feresten was a host of a late night show on Fox, which nobody saw. But, we had our finger on the pulse, kind of like we were watching very eagerly, like for things that were popping online, especially young, funny things. And Spike's from Boston area. And we found this kid in his bedroom who would do these songs. And we then booked him and then we flew him out and he had to come out with his mom. And
how old was he?
Oh, man, this was in 2008 or 9, so someone can do the math. So it was 13 years ago, probably.
Wow.
And we flew him out from Boston. He was still in high school and put him on the air.
Damn.
Yeah. I don't think he had started stand-up at all. No, not yet. Stand-up was after he kind of popped, I think. It was all the home movies, basically.
Yeah.
Says Chris, he's on it today. Says he's currently 30 years old, Bo.
Well.
You saw 8th grade?
Yeah, 8th grade was great.
I loved it.
Yeah. I play golf with him, me and Bo.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's like a 3 handicap. He's really fucking good.
Wow. All
Yeah.
right. He's getting more unlikable every minute.
Wait a minute, you're playing golf now.
Yeah, but playing golf and stinking is very likable. See
For
how
a beginner, you're very good for a beginner. The thing about you is
Oh, boy.
you have really good focus and you keep it simple. You have such a compact, simple swing. You're not trying to do too much. And so
It
you're
sounds
actually
like you're joking, but I
No,
am
I'm serious.
trying to do that. I'm trying to, because I just know that's one thing. The variables are when things go wrong.
right.
Whatever. We're not talking about golf. You already
Let's
have that
talk
hat
about
on.
what's really going on tonight. Well, we're recording this on Saturday. Our daughters are going to the prom together tonight.
Yes.
Are they
So-
like each other's dates?
As this airs, one of them or both might be pregnant tomorrow. So, or as you're hearing this, I guess, which is tomorrow. Well, they're going as I think, but that's a very popular pandemic thing. I think. I mean, I think it also is very popular in proms. Like a lot of groups of friends now go. It's happening with my niece over in Culver High.
Yeah.
So anyway, but I think now, do they have matching dresses?
I hope not. JoJo, she bought one dress. She bought this one dress, and it was like the dress that Molly Ringwald wore in 16 Candles. It was like big, flowing, pink, crazy prom dress from the 80s.
Why
and
not?
I think she was thinking just, she bought it vintage, and she thought, I think it would be fun. And then she kind of bailed and went. She didn't want to be.
After you laughed at her?
She wanted to be. Well, I didn't laugh at her, but I think Erin might have said, this isn't the kind of dress girls are wearing now. And so she got
I think
something a little
JoJo
more
knew that.
simple. But no, we're going to meet at the house, I think at 4:30, take some photos of them getting ready,
Yeah.
putting probably way too much makeup on.
No chance of a Frankenbeans incident like Something About Mary. There's no Frankenbeans involved. Hopefully the whole night.
Right.
But it'll be cute. I'm psyched.
Yeah, it's
Well,
very exciting.
So what? I'm arriving with flowers, right? Even though they're useless, kind of. They'll be in a vase there.
I guess so. That'd be a nice touch.
Yeah.
I think we're going to get a little champagne, give them a glass of champagne.
That's nice. You want me to pick that up?
No, I'll get it. Oh, no, we have some at home. We'll just chill it.
All right.
And then I think she's going to have a few people over after the prom also. So we got a
Yeah.
table set up. We're going to get ping pong balls so they can play beer pong.
Nice.
And, see what
Glad it's
happens.
that. I thought you were going a different way. All right. That
Who
would've
did you
been
go to the
gross.
prom with?
Interesting question. I went to a prom, but not at my school. I got kicked out. I was president of the student body at my boarding school, and then I got kicked out in March. And one of the and I got my degree and all that. But one of the parts of the deal was I couldn't come to the prom. And I had organized a lot of it. We hired a band from 86th Street that played in this bar that we liked in New York City. And we drove them all up there and stuff like that. So Dudley went with my prom date. And,
No.
Yeah, and was productive. Can I say
Nice
that?
duds.
I'm talking about a 17 or 18-year-old girl. It feels weird now, but she was our age.
Wait,
at
so
the time.
were you dating her at the time?
No, not like kind of. Like we were going together before I got kicked out. Like going
Yeah.
to the prom together, in other words. But no, the prom would have been breakthrough territory.
So, but then it was breakthrough territory for duds instead.
Yes.
Duds.
Yeah.
Swooping in.
Yeah. So but fine. There was zero hard feelings. I'm glad it happened. Because we weren't an item.
Yeah.
We were like flirty friends, and that would have been the culmination of it, I think. But I did go to a prom in New York City to Lady Gaga's school. Sacred Heart, I think it's called.
Oh, yeah?
So I went to a prom there, but just with a friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had my prom, I went to a private school, but I hung out. All my friends were from Tarrytown, so I brought a girl from Tarrytown to the prom because I didn't really socialize at my high school. So I brought this girl, Jeanette, who was voted best looking at the public high school.
Oh, wow.
and so I was stepping out. We got an 8-ball of blow. Went down to the city. Went to Danceteria. Got home
Oh
at
my
like
God.
yeah, Danceteria.
With blow. Well,
With
no
blow.
one was in there without blow at that time.
I don't think you were allowed in. You had to show ID and an 8-ball to get in.
And that's in the church? No, that was the Limelight.
No, that's the Limelight. Danceteria was the one with 3 floors.
Jesus Christ.
And they had different music on each floor.
Compare that to our expectations of what our girls are going to do tonight.
I know.
I mean, think about your story, how AIDS adjacent it is, first of all.
Yeah.
With needles and sexual behavior. And I'm not talking about homosexual exclusive at all. And especially during that time. I mean, you're talking about 85, right?
84.
Oh, that's right. You were left back. Yeah. So are you kidding me? That's prime time. For
Prime
the
time, and nobody
worst
understood
shit.
AIDS back then. Nobody knew how it was transmitted, and nobody knew that it was more gay than straight. All kinds of people were getting it.
And for you listeners who think we might be like talking about AIDS too much because we love it, New York, what's the equivalent? Like, well, I guess in a weird way, Corona a little bit. You have no idea what it was like to be in New York City in the 80s regarding AIDS. It was terrifying, and so many people dying.
I worked in a hospital at that time, and I delivered food to the rooms. And I used to
Are you
have to.
serious, or did you create this backstory like Gatsby or something?
No, I was a tray girl. The position was called tray girl because no guy had ever done the job before.
Oh,
But-
it wasn't because they got tagged by 3 patients in the hospital every night?
They're too sick to do anything. So I used to have to go to the AIDS rooms, and they didn't even know what to call it back then. They had another. It wasn't called AIDS at first. It was called something else.
Right.
And they had like a symbol up on the door, and if we saw that symbol, we had to put masks and gloves on, and we would deliver food on a cardboard tray with disposable utensils because nobody wanted to catch anything.
And the symbol, oddly enough, was just like a little cartoon drawing of Kevin Spacey's head. It's
What?
very ahead of its time. Nothing. Go ahead. No, I said the symbol was Kevin Spacey's smiling face. Looking
Why
at you,
Kevin
know?
Spacey?
Well, I thought it would be a funny joke because no one knew he was gay yet, but it turns
Oh.
out he's a gay predator.
Is he? Yeah, I guess he is, huh?
He's technically all right. I guess if I was if a lawyer was whispering in my ear right now, I would say an alleged predator.
Allegedly. Well, I was at the Four Seasons in Beverly Hills with my wife and a couple other people, and we went up on the roof. There's a pool on the roof deck, and we walked up there. It was at like 10 o'clock at night, and Spacey was sitting there with a busboy. He had the busboy kind of pinned against a lawn chair. We were like, "Hey now."
Pete Scott hooked me up with World Series tickets. Atlanta Yankees, or what, the playoffs. I guess that's the World Series. And oh my God, here come the letters. So, but we also went to the playoffs. But I think this was the World Series, and I'm then standing in the parking lot, which was a special area with media laminates and stuff. And then Spacey was there, and I think people was like, "What?" He's like, "Do you know Spacey?" But he was far away. And I'm like, "No." He's like, "Oh, he's looking at you." And I look, and he was looking like right at me. But keep in mind, gays have never been attracted to this, so it was unusual. But I have to say, you do feel special because this movie star is staring at you.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
So I blew him.
I was once
By
flirting.
the way, he never even came close or talked to me or anything like that. But I think that guy cast a wide net if he's looking at me in a parking lot in the Bronx.
Yeah, what's his type? Latino busboy and tall white dude?
I don't know. I was wearing shorts and roller skates at the time, but I don't know what his type is.
Speaking of which, how about our logo this week? We commemorate Gay Pride Month. Gordon McBride did a very nice graphic for us. Thank you, Gordon.
Yeah, look at that.
He made that about 7 months ago, and I had it sitting in the folder waiting for this month to happen.
I was going to say, where have I seen that?
Yeah, it was a while ago.
That's, and what is that? There's a lot of good motion on that.
Well, there's...
Is that like from a movie? poster?
No, it looks like he created it from scratch because it says COVID-19. It's newspapers. It's a city made of news Sunday papers. And then I don't know who the two guys are rollerblading with the gay flags, but
Well, I think it's a mirror image. They're too similar, but he changed the color of the shorts. I think they're obviously the same photo. Look at the arms.
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
It's really cool.
The bar has been set pretty high by Gordon on this one. Also, the song from Mitch Robinson was very fun.
Nice.
Yeah, nice.
I have to be honest. I haven't heard it because you didn't play it.
Well, you want me to play it?
No, everyone already heard it. I'm just
All
going
right.
to say it was cool. It kind of had a little ska thing. Did it? I don't know. I shouldn't have been so specific. It sort of had a, a measured beat to timing. Think of the most generic way to describe music.
People are still talking about 2 weeks ago. The one from
the punk. I mean, the metal.
the Rob Dukes one, yeah.
Oh wow, yeah, that was strong, super strong.
If you want to send anything in, folks, we love your graphics. We put them up, as you know, every week. We have a different show logo and a different song. Those all get sent to fitzdog radio@gmail.com. Love to hear from you. Just say
Thanks
hi.
for listening, everybody. I don't think we say that enough. We do at the end.
We do at the
So-
end, but
So for the people that don't get there, this experience, we've been doing it over a year now. It's, we're not out of the pandemic, but in some pocket, it feels like a little bit here, don't you think?
yep.
Everything's packed now.
Yeah, it's over. The comedy clubs are full, and
Full,
nobody's
full?
wearing
No.
masks. Yeah, well, they're going to be 100% full in a week, but right
Yeah.
now they're about 70 or 80% full.
Same amount of laughs for you, right?
Well, that's about how much I draw anyway, so it's fine.
There we go.
And but comics all hugging each other, love fest. It's nice.
Hopefully something good comes out of this.
Saw a lot of Mary Lynn Rajskub the last few nights. I've been running around doing
man.
shows. She's the best.
so funny.
So fucking funny.
I mean, I've said it a million times that when I first moved to LA, I was working with Mr. Show, and she and David Cross were an item, and that's how I kind of met her. But really, as a fan, I mean, I lived in New York, and then I that happened before I moved here. Then I moved here, and I still was just a fan. But she'd go up in Largo, which was so the center of the alternative comedy scene. Ludlow in New York, Ludlow Street, and then here
On
and-
Fairfax.
on Fairfax before it moved. And then it's so much so that the New York Times Magazine did a cover story on it.
Yeah.
And she was part of that. But her stand-up was so experimental and unusual. Do you remember the bit she did? She gets up on stage, her awkward, usual self, and she starts doing these jokes and like fat jokes about Elizabeth Taylor, who was still alive. And it was bombing.
Yeah.
And she just awkwardly would do them and like go through, and then kind of was like surprised that like no laughs. People were laughing at the awkwardness, but it was like kind of truly awkward. And she's like, it's so weird that didn't work. Like, listen. And she presses play, and it was Joan Rivers doing verbatim what she had just said on Johnny Carson, crushing.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's great.
She did word for word that act, which was on Johnny Carson like not long before.
Yeah, her persona at Largo was so different. It was so fucking funny. Holy shit. She was always doing interesting things. And then there was the Girls Guitar Club she did with Karen Kilgariff of My Favorite Murder.
In the pilot, in your pilot.
And that's right. In our pilot, you were the director.
Yeah, kind of. They let us shoot in their offices on the weekend. Well, are we ever gonna? Are we
We got
allowed
to release that. It was, if people don't know what we're talking about, in 1999, I pitched, it was a plane pitch. I got on a plane with Jane Lipsitz from, she was the programmer at VH1 at the time. And I pitched her a show that I had. Or actually, she said, we're looking for programming for the millennial, something for the year 2000. And so we start shooting the shit, and I go, what about like a time capsule where VH1 is compiling artifacts from the music world because the president is launching a time capsule into space, and it's going to have stuff from history. It's going to have stuff from politics, things from sports, and VH1's in charge of getting objects for the capsule from the music world. And so we got, oh my God, Craig Anton was in it, Dave Koechner, Zach. The best part was I wanted Zach to be my sidekick.
A nobody.
A nobody. And so he comes in and he auditions, and VH1 is like, absolutely not. This guy seems like he might be mentally ill.
He's an energy suck. Yeah.
And he's dyslexic, so he couldn't read the lines. He got the lines wrong.
Yeah.
And so we kept fighting for him. We're like, no, this is the guy. He's perfect for this. So then finally they gave in and they let us do it, and we shot it. And it was we shot it for so cheap. Where did we shoot? At the VH1 building?
Yeah, and you have to be done Sunday because work's Monday.
Right. We had the
used
empty
their
building
real
for the
offices.
weekend. Yeah.
No props, no furniture, nothing.
The only thing we had was good music because it was VH1, so we could use any music we wanted.
Yeah.
And Sugar Ray was in it. Mark
Yep.
McGrath.
He was great.
And so anyway, so the pilot doesn't get picked up. And a month later, I'm reading the trades. Zach Galifianakis lands hosting job on VH1's new show, Late World with Zach.
Yep.
Oh, fuck.
But boy, I mean, I remember that was the first time I think I experienced David Koechner. And, I'm behind the camera and I am just watching him. And then I learned a trick Troy Miller from Mr. Show fame. Troy taught me, which is with comedians, always delay yelling cut, because that awkwardness, you wouldn't believe what comes out when there's. But with Koechner, I'd have to say, if I didn't yell cut for 2 days, he would have stayed locked and just kept going.
Yeah.
And in inventive new ways. And I've heard other people talk about seeing him for the first time, like maybe on stage in Chicago in improv. But it was like, anyway, I know a lot of people like when we talk about inside comedy type things. Well, this is one of the funnest stories to tell. And it's not, I already told it, but the funnest stories are when there is a truly gifted improv comedy actor and you are just floored. And the stories rarely can translate to how big it is. And I remember Bradley Cooper once said this about Vince Vaughn. I guess he came out in Wedding Crashers, and there was a scene on the lawn, and he goes, and the director didn't yell cut, and he was just out there yelling, and the whole place was just mesmerized with what Vince Vaughn could come up with in that moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Koechner, to me, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. And it's like, you're really great at improv. Zach is amazing. Like, this was like A-list improv things, and this guy came in, and it's kind of like stories I hear about Will Ferrell.
Yeah. I remember you didn't yell cut, and there was one scene where he's pitching me the item. Well, that was the scene. He's pitching me an item. Yeah. And he's drunk, and he used to be the security guard at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and he stole the Talking Head suit, and he's trying to explain to me why I should get it. And you didn't yell cut, so he does his pitch, and then there's silence, and he just leans in and he goes, "Let's do this thing." And he puts his hand on my leg and he leans in. It just kept on going, and I'm just squirming.
First of all, he goes, "Let's do this thing." And I remember at that point, there had been an awkward bubble that he burst with that. And I was fine and I was good. If I didn't start laughing so hard, I would have yelled cut, and I didn't. And he's leaning in so close to you and he's fighting like his breath is in there. And he goes, "Let's do this." And then I can't yell cut because I'm laughing so hard. And then he goes, "I'm lonely."
Yeah, that's right. I'm lonely.
That was the next thing he said after another pregnant pause where I didn't yell cut.
That's right. Oh, he's the fucking greatest.
Yeah.
All right, listen, Mike.
Yeah.
Corrections.
All right. Go ahead. I'm a big boy. I can take it. Go ahead. I don't know what they are.
Well, Dan Goodman's coming hard at us. Honestly, how misinformed and ignorant can you guys really be? And I'm expecting politics at this point. The largest drink at Starbucks is Trenta, not a fucking venti, you Mick Irish pieces of shit.
It is Italian.
I didn't know that. The
I didn't know
Trenta.
that either. I do know I was in Mexico City once for a job. Anyway, I go over to Starbucks across the street, and even in there, and I've told this story before, but I'm like, I'm just like, please don't tell me you're medium. In Mexico, in a Spanish-speaking country, you're going to make these people call a medium a grande. And that was, I know that's like everyone does that joke now, but it really was like just not here. Not at least mix it up when you're in a Spanish-speaking country. When they say fucking grande.
Yeah.
Because when Starbucks, and this was early, this was, really early 2000s, I would call it a large. When I went into Starbucks, I wasn't going to play their stupid game.
I won't play the game.
No, but it's like it wasn't even on principle. I didn't know. Like, I'm not going to do your fun code words.
Yeah.
All right, whatever.
All right. DJ Will said, technical minutia this time, but guitarist Gary Holt has been in Exodus since the 80s, long before he was in Slayer.
There you
Exodus is his primary group. He did double duty in both bands for years, filling in for the deceased Jeff Hanneman till Slayer's final show. Rob Dukes is a former Exodus singer, not current. Generation Kill is his current group. That was the song we played last week.
I'm glad we cleared that up.
All right, cleared that up. This one is from Dane. It looks like you had a response to Dane. Love the podcast. I was listening while driving and I had to pull over to send this. Mike said, quote, it's too much of a coincidence that the one town where this originated also has a chemical lab. This is literally how these conspiracies get proliferated. Major context missing here. Like Wuhan is the 9th largest city in the world. New York ranks 12th. Wuhan has a population of 11 million. It's no town. Okay.
Go ahead. No, keep going.
Just a reminder that this was only a claim, only largely made by the right to further demonize an adversary in China. These baseless claims have also led to a spike in Chinese-American hate crimes. Claims require evidence for rational belief. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. Love the show, Dane.
All right, Dane. Corrected on Wuhan being a town, although Chicago's my kind of town. New York City's a cool town, you dick. No, I'm kidding. All right, so Dane, I didn't know Wuhan was that big, but I did look this up. I did not spend a lot of time. Newsweek, which I do trust.
I trust Newsweek.
Newsweek had an article this week that I think was rather fascinating, and they went into it about, okay, what's what? Yes, these were claims. By the way, you did say mostly the right or whatever. Interestingly enough, the right then flipped very quickly following Trump's lead that China's cool. And then it flipped back, I think, calling it the Chinese disease. But at one point, there was some heat from the highest on the right to look into it, and then they quickly gave that up. But go find this Newsweek article, which is called How Amateur Sleuths Broke the Wuhan Lab Story and Embarrassed the Media. It's a really interesting article, and I'll just read this. The reason for the sudden shift in attitudes is clear. Over the weeks and months of the pandemic, the pileup of circumstantial evidence pointing to the Wuhan lab kept growing until it became too substantial to ignore. This is interesting. This is why I trust Newsweek. None of this proves that the pandemic started in the Wuhan lab, of course. It's entirely possible that it did not. But the evidence assembled amounts to what prosecutors call probable cause, a strong evidence-based case for a full investigation. It's not clear that the best efforts of the U.S. and other nations to investigate the lab leak hypothesis will ever turn up unequivocal evidence one way or another, at least without the full cooperation of China, which is unlikely. This article goes into details. There have been such cover-ups and lies. They said that they did find it in a mine, this bat, and that 8 people got the flu and got very sick in this mine. And then they said they did bring that back to the lab, and then they lied and said, but then they did nothing with it after first exploring it. But they've uncovered these papers about the experiments with the virus. So anyway, read the article. I just think it's very interesting. And as I said last week, my whole hypothesis was, if Biden is opening this up...
Wait, is it true there were no Jews in the lab at the time?
Well, so well, some of their moms weren't Jewish, so technically they weren't
Okay.
Jewish. Yeah.
All right.
But anyway, I think there's something here, and it might have been
Hey, look,
a leak.
I
It might
think
have been
you
an
have to.
accidental leak.
You have to just say, it's like this says, you have to have an investigation. There's enough evidence that it needs to be investigated. There's not enough evidence that any fucking armchair bozo can start drawing conclusions yet. There's no conclusions. There's questions. And I'm all for finding out whether or not it was, an accident in the lab. Obviously, I don't think the Chinese, put it out there on purpose and killed their own people. I can't imagine that, but
A lot of people believe that.
We're not going to get any info from China, so I don't know what the point of the investigation is. So I don't know that we'll ever know.
I know. It's one of those, like, I wonder if it'll be a great documentary, down the road, or
Oh yeah,
when these scientists maybe get older and they start coughing up information, perhaps, maybe we get some of them here in America and they could speak freely if there is something going on. But listen, I don't think I was that off base. The lab that has the virus, that's where the outbreak was, and then they shut it down like nobody else.
yeah.
I don't know. All that's true, Dane. So anyway, read this Newsweek article, and it's like Tom O'Neill's book. It's smart enough, and it's truly journalism where they are very forthcoming with the shortcomings and that they don't have a smoking gun. But like Tom O'Neill's book about Charles Manson and his ties to the CIA, there's so much evidence that I think a open-minded person would start to question things big time.
And hey, everybody,
Oh,
no
boy.
more hate crimes against Asian people. Seriously.
God, it has nothing to do with that. You think the fucking poor people of China want this shit going on?
No. So listen, Rick Schwartz from Brookline, Mass. said the movie you guys were thinking of was Tucker, the Man and His Dream.
Yes, it was.
Apparently, of the 51, only 51 cars were produced. Francis Ford Coppola and George Lucas each owned 2.
Huh.
Here's another guy who said also the largest Starbucks size is Trenta, which is 31 ounces. And the capital is
Goddamn
Pierre,
milkshake.
South Dakota.
It sure is. It sure is.
Okay.
I love that one.
You know what I love?
Uh-oh.
I love when I can fucking kick back and make a meal without having to forage. I don't want to go to the grocery store and forage for ingredients. I always forget one. And then I'm confused about, did I do teaspoon or tablespoon? I don't know. I have ADD.
I have vanilla at home, right? Then
Welcome.
it's rock solid.
It's rock solid. Yeah, you're chiseling out your cinnamon. HelloFresh cuts out
Don't even
all
get me
of the...
started.
There's no problems when you get HelloFresh. You don't need... Forget the grocery store. You can get a dinner on the table in just 30 minutes. They even have these quick and easy meals, which take like 15 or 20 minutes. They got breakfast on the go. The thing is, I just had my buddy Pete staying over for 4 days, and I knew we were going to do a lot of stuff. So I ordered a HelloFresh meal for one of the nights. And that day, we played paddle tennis, we went hiking. I didn't have to worry about collecting stuff. We got home. He wanted to be a good guest. He goes, let me make dinner. And I said, well, it's HelloFresh. And he said, well, hello, Greg. Jesus.
Oh, I think the ad just got pulled, but with that one. All right, so I got a box. I told you, right?
Yeah,
And
you did tell me.
I've never gotten food service. I've never gotten meal kits. I've never done any of that. This thing was great. It's also great because you're not nuking a pre-made meal or whatever.
Right.
And I'm not reading any copy here. You cook, but they have everything kind of measured out for you. But you have to chop. They didn't peel the carrots for you. It's not all pre-done. So I just felt it was really fresh, whole foods that they send to you also. I did the beef and veggie, I don't know how you'd pronounce it, bibimbap? Bibimbap.
I think it's Korean.
It's beef, zucchini, carrots, and jasmine rice. And even the rice, no sugar, you boil it. You're not nuking it or anything. And it was great. It's also something I would never make.
You
And
love
that's
eating
why I like
jasmine, right?
Yes, right. Who's she? And then they had Monterey Jack unfried chicken. Fantastic.
Nice.
And you can sub, because I have a celiac kid. Super fun. Doesn't make things complicated at all. 2 sets of pans, whole thing, 2 toasters. So, but you could sub in gluten-free breadcrumbs and stuff and kind of make the meals your own.
The amazing thing is also it's 28% cheaper than shopping at the grocery store, 72% cheaper than a restaurant meal, and you're getting like better quality than you would get. So I would say take advantage of this now. Go to HelloFresh.com/papers12 and use code papers12 for 12 free meals, including free. Is that really? Am I reading the right thing? 12 free meals, including free shipping.
Really?
Yeah. Go to HelloFresh.com/papers12. Use code papers12. Get the meals. It's unbelievable. It's America's #1 meal kit. All right. Should we get to the front page?
I don't know. What are we, a half hour into this bitch?
36 minutes.
Oh, then we can wait. Now let's do it.
Extra! Extra! Read all about it! Extra!
That's not very loud at all.
What was that?
There
Is
we
that
go.
soaking wet?
That's better.
All right, front page. Japan moves forward with the Olympics despite COVID crisis and public doubts. As Tokyo marked 50 days until the start of the Summer Olympics, most of Japan is still under a COVID-19
Unbelievable.
state of emergency. The chief Olympics organizer said the games that were supposed to be held last year cannot be postponed again. Okay, so who's this, a scientist? Oh, no, he's a chief Olympics organizer.
Yeah.
I think he's from NBC. Anyway, most infections and deaths are happening now compared to when Tokyo froze the games in March 2020. Japan's top COVID-19 advisor said it's not normal to hold the Olympic Games in a situation like this.
It's not normal. Normally when there's a pandemic, and based on the other pandemics we've had, we didn't have the Olympics.
A state of emergency has just been extended to June 20. It now blankets much of Japan. Around 10,000 Olympic volunteers and around 10,000 Olympic volunteers of the 80,000 have now quit.
Ugh. Jesus.
So my take on it is, all right, imagine if you were an objective party, like a judge coming in to hear this. It's like, okay, so to delay the Olympics, where the whole world is going to fly to a region in tight quarters where there's so much intermingling that they have to hand out crazy amounts of condoms. Okay, so there's also that. But it's all the airports. It's going to be an inundation from all over the world. They're all going to be in a central place. Then it's as if like, if you wanted to spread something, this is how you would do it. Then you're all going to get on planes and go home. Okay.
And while you're there, you're going to breathe very heavy right next to each other for 2 weeks.
Yeah. And exert yourselves and weaken your immune systems. And
living on nothing but sushi.
And the second you're done fully exerting yourself, you're going to party like fucking crazy.
Right.
Usually inside another person. Or another person inside you. So, okay, even if I'm that judge and I hear that, I'll be like, all right, but where's it going to take place? Oh, Asia.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. You know what? Do it. Sure.
Yeah.
Why not?
I
we're
think
in
Japan
Asia,
literally
in a place
has a
that's
red
in an
flag.
Emergency. Yeah.
It's literally a red flag.
It's a petri dish. That's what that circle is, and it's completely on fire.
I don't think they're gonna have to. They're not gonna be able to do the full events. It's gonna be, instead of the triple jump, it'll be the double jump.
The baton. You just have to throw the baton to the person waiting for it. Like,
yeah.
Don't both touch it at the same time.
All right. You're gonna swim with masks on.
Imagine you being a wrestler.
Oh yeah.
You literally are basically making love to the person.
Right.
But way more intense usually.
All right. So what's the under/over on people catching COVID at the Olympics? Should we guess right now?
Well, what's the over/under on it happening? I don't think it's going to happen.
Really?
And didn't St. Louis man Bob Costas expressed doubt? I think we talked about this last week, maybe a little. Yeah.
Oh, he got in trouble for saying that.
No, we talked about Bob Costas with Chris, who's from St. Louis, after the podcast last week, and we said, let's talk about him next week. I love Costas.
I love Costas. I told you my dad was friends with him, right?
Yep.
Yeah, he's.
I've worked with him like very minor, but on just comedy shows. Oh, so one thing we did really cool. Kilborn was, quite goofy and bored with late night way before anyone was, and Kilborn, Costas came on and we challenged him. Can you sneak this phrase into one of your broadcasts? It's kind of like a thing that Kimmel then started to do, but we were doing it first, and I'm not saying Kimmel stole it at all, but it's a fun thing to do, and we weren't first. So we wanted it to be kind of conspicuous, so we gave him, oh, that's restaurant quality lemonade. And he did it. He snuck
That's
that
amazing.
in. He snuck that into sports commentary.
That's
Swear to God.
amazing.
Yes.
Oh, God.
He's great, and he's very independent minded. Norm Macdonald had a really good story about him. Norm had this bet. So there was a famous, and people will know what it is. There was a famous Mets game, and they were like down by 1 or whatever, and a guy hit a dinger to win the game, the last at bat, and there were like 2 men on, let's say. So they won, but the guy who hit the home run was mobbed and never made it to home plate. And there was an over-under on that game of how many, and the over would have won if he touched home plate.
Oh,
and it's
no shit.
It's a very famous bad beat story. I might have some of the numbers wrong, but that's generally the story. And Norm goes, Costas mentioned that. Like, and sportscasters are supposed to play that they are absolutely unaware of who was, the Vegas favorite,
Right.
and especially an over-under bet. But
Yeah.
all he said was, well, that'll come to play. And apparently, and I don't know if this is true, so I hesitate saying it, but I believe Costas's dad might have had a gambling problem. And I think Costas is more aware than most of how sports is for gamblers.
Huh.
Yeah.
Wow.
But he mentioned that during that broadcast, I believe, that it's going to affect people very significantly that guy didn't get to home plate.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah.
All
There
right.
it is. So I don't know. You think it's going to happen in the Olympics?
I think it is going to happen. I think that there's fatigue of this disease. I don't know how it is in Japan though. It sounds like
Fatigue.
it's not going well there.
Oh, yeah. What do you mean? That's all we just read.
Yeah.
I'm not just picking on an Asian city like just to be racist. Which is not beneath me, but I'm just above me. I'm not beneath that. I'll get it right. But it is a hot spot. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. Okay. I wonder what the rates are. Chris, why don't you look up what the rates are in Japan right now? While I read this next story. Oh, no, read the Obama one.
Proof of aliens will lead to new religions and massive military spending, says Barack Obama. The former U.S. president, actually he was on with my boy, James Corden. The former U.S. president in that interview said that proof of aliens would likely result in the emergence of new religions, and there would be calls for huge sums of money to be spent on weapon systems so we can defend ourselves from possible attack. The reason I put this story in, first of all, it's an interesting conversation because I guess last week, the U.S. officially stated for the first time that in no way were those U.S. ships, that the unidentified objects were not like super advanced U.S. vessels that America was keeping secret. So they are truly unidentified objects, right?
Yeah, I think they have a new phrase for it now. I forget what it is.
Question, but one of the reasons I did it was the first comment left by a reader of this article was, here's the comment: I treat UFO sightings the same way I observed Obama's birth certificate. I'll believe it when I see a real one. all caps.
Wow. How do you read comments? I mean,
They're the best.
Unbelievable.
They're the best.
Yeah. I think that they should, I don't know about the government doing this. I think we should just privatize it. Privatize the weapon systems like Ghostbusters. Yeah, like remember the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man? Ghostbusters. We can handle that.
A lot of R&D. Yeah, exactly. do you think there'd be new religions?
I think we need one. I think we're all sick of the ones that are around right now, and they're not really like current.
Don't we
need
already
one.
have the perfect religion in place for alien spacecraft? It's called Scientology.
That's right. With Scientology, did we get born out of the side of a volcano, or was that the Mormons?
No,
I think it's Scientology.
No, they dropped it. They came down. The Thetans and everything. I don't have.
I think they dropped spores into the side of a volcano, and then it erupted, and then we were born out of that.
Yeah, I didn't take advanced science classes in college, but I think it's they dropped the souls into a volcano and then they emerged or something.
Yeah, right.
But actually, a fair question is, do you think it would change religions? Because you and I they try to indoctrinate us in the Catholic Church, right?
Yeah.
No science. The Bible has been disproven by science in more ways than you can count, and it has not swayed any of them.
Right.
Why does Obama think now that we have rocks that are 30 million years old, and obviously 300, however old rocks are, like it's infinitely older than the Bible says, when the universe was created. So, and a million, I mean, don't even get me started on Noah's Ark. So, like, it doesn't matter to them. Why does Obama think this would change that?
No, I don't think it would change them. I think it would take people that were non-religious and let them find a religion. I think they would suddenly say...
I like that.
Yeah, they're suddenly seeing that there's extraterrestrials, that there's a life form that's probably smarter than us. We should follow their lead. We should worship them. If they have a leader, I'll suck his dick because that's part of it.
Yeah, that's universal.
Can you imagine sucking an alien's dick?
In the universe.
You literally don't know what's going to happen when the alien comes. It could be...
I do. He's going to fall asleep on me. He doesn't want to talk.
And you're going to be stuck with a mouthful of what tastes like watermelon?
And then I feel cheap and disgusting, and I have to find my way out of this guy's apartment.
He leaves
in the dark.
He doesn't leave his number. He's just fucking spaceship just goes.
Yeah. But I don't know. The ego of religions, how do people not call it out? It's so egocentric. We're the center of the universe, of course. And this unbelievable being who overlooks all of the universe, he made us in his image. Oh, wow, God. We're the most important thing ever. Holy shit.
Right.
Even to God, we're the most important thing ever.
We're important, but
We're
not so
virus.
important that the Bible has to constantly remind you that you should fear God and that you should respect God and you should have no other gods except for him. He's an insecure God. He's constantly...
He's crazy insecure.
Yeah.
Kill anyone who even dares worship another one.
That's right. Except...
Oh.
Yeah.
God.
All right, listen, let's not... We're getting on
You're a dick. God, you're a dick, and I know you can hear me.
In Utah, police got quite a surprise when they found a 9-year-old girl driving a car with her 4-year-old
Wait,
sister.
my heart's really hurting. Hold on a minute. I'm kidding. That was God. Go ahead.
With her 4-year-old sister in the passenger seat. The sisters told officers they were heading to California because they wanted to, quote, swim in the ocean.
I'm sorry. That is the greatest, most honest answer ever.
Yes. Yes.
It's kind of like, why'd you rob the bank? Well, that's where the money is. Remember that old guy had that famous line?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
They drove on 2 major roads, hit another car, and then crashed head-on into a truck. Utah's police
this
department...
isn't the ocean.
Utah said the police department said the girls woke up at about 3 a.m. on Wednesday and took the Chevy Malibu while their parents were sleeping.
That's where they got the idea.
Malibu.
They have a car called Malibu. Yeah.
Right. If it had been a Tahoe, they would have been heading up to Lake Tahoe. She drove a car about 10 miles before she hit another vehicle and crashed into the truck.
She hit an Armada. See, we have a theme going on. All right, go ahead.
When I was about that age, my mom left me in a parking lot. This is so fucking crazy. Growing up in the 70s, people have no idea. She left me alone. I was probably 7 years old. We had this beautiful Mercury Cougar. You remember Cougars? It was like
Of course.
It was like a 69 Cougar. Fucking beautiful muscle car. And so I was so excited. I was sitting in it, and I put it into drive, and I smashed it into a car in front of me. And I busted my lip open. So my mom comes back to the car, and of course the Cougar wasn't dented because the thing was made of fucking wrought iron, and
Right.
but there was a big dent in the car in front of us, and I had blood on my shirt. And she just said, "Move over," got in the car, and fucking hightailed it out of there.
So, what does she tell your dad? Because there's a lot of guilty parties in this story. How do you think that conversation?
She's like,
went
"What? I
down?
cracked the window. He was fine."
What's unbelievable is when you started telling that story, I'm like, I think Greg has taken one of my memories and made it his own. Mine was, which I didn't even think for the first couple of years, but yes, we were left alone in the car. He left my sister and I. So Laura and I were in the car, and we were in maybe a mall parking lot, or like it was either a department store, but he had to run in real quick, but it was hot. So he left the car running. So he left the car running with his two children. Okay, that's the part that didn't occur to me for years. But I got behind the seat, and I put it, and I think I lucked out. We were really young, and I think I put it in neutral. But we started to roll backwards out of the parking spot, and a bunch of people came and like stopped it. And I remember a guy like opening the door to put his foot on the brake. And then at that point, my dad then was running towards the car because he saw his car in the middle of the parking lanes with a crowd of people around it.
Jesus.
Yeah. But we could have been stolen so easily.
My daughter had this friend from summer camp, and the girl is crazy. She's like out of control kid. The one you like never want your kid hanging out with. Hopefully her
Yeah.
parents don't listen to the podcast. And they went into her car. We were in the restaurant, and the girls got bored, and they said, "Can we go sit in the car?" So they sat in her parents' car, and the girl had the keys, and she did exactly this, same fucking story. She like put it into neutral, but we happened to be at a restaurant. You know that fish restaurant on the PCH where they have like picnic tables and you stand in line to get your fish dinner?
The Real Inn.
The Real Inn. Right. We were at the Real Inn.
Yes.
And the girl put the car into neutral, and it started, and we could see it. And it just started fucking rolling to the PCH backwards.
Highway.
A highway.
Treacherous
And,
highway, actually.
Like at the last second, JoJo leaned over and stopped the car. I don't know if she hit the brake or she stuck it into park or whatever, but it could have been disastrous.
Oh, God. I mean, a few more feet and it's a Caitlyn Jenner situation. Dead people on the PCH. Innocent dead people. But luckily you don't get charged for that.
And luckily that story just kind of goes away. The key is you got to do something big. You got to, what is it called? Wag the dog?
Sure.
If I do
Hey, there's
something,
the Real Inn. Look at that.
yeah, there it is. If I ever totally fuck up, I may go transsexual.
All right.
Am I gonna get shit for saying
you gotta
that?
pass on a lot of things. Well, I think the real thing there is you just got to be very rich.
Yeah.
I think a poor transsexual would have gone to jail or at least paid some sort of price. Well, Caitlyn Jenner did pay a price, but I'm talking about like a moral price.
Yeah.
Want to skip to entertainment?
Yeah, let's get to entertainment. Hold on. We got a letter from Andy Dugas. You guys talk about the shows you're watching. I don't think I've heard you talk about Hacks. Gene Smart
slow
plays
down,
an
Andy.
aging comedian with a long-term Vegas residency who takes on a disgraced Gen Z TV comedy writer played by Hannah Einbinder, Lorraine Newman's daughter. I read this
Lorraine
letter,
Newman's super
and so I
cool.
checked it out. Fucking great show.
I've seen two. I think I've seen 2 episodes. It's a little cute. Don't you think it falls on the cute? I love Jean Smart, but doesn't it fall on the cute side a little?
It's definitely cute. I
don't
think
know.
it's like Queen's Gambit. It's kind of like it's lighthearted fare.
It does not have that edge. It does not have that edge.
I would say.
But comedy is harder than drama.
I would say though, when I think it works as a drama. Maybe I'm overselling it. I really liked it. Maybe because I'm a comedian. Maybe because I fucking love Jean Smart and I love Lorraine Newman and her daughter. Like, she's got something. She's got like a real grit to her that's very genuine.
She's got an incredibly gifted, funny mom. She also has that.
Yeah. So, but the one thing that never works in these shows about stand-up comedians is when they actually start doing jokes. They're like writing
know.
a joke about somebody who's gay in the closet, and they're pitching each other joke bits, and it's like, he's been in the closet so long he has mothballs in his pockets. There's a staff of writers, and they pitched on this joke, and that's what they came up with.
I know, but wasn't that like one of the ones that are like, that's not good enough? So maybe they put it in there like under that guise. Like, we can beat that.
I don't know.
Wouldn't the mothballs be up his ass? I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't be in that room either. Okay.
Chris Denman said solid ratings on IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, look at him. I didn't know IMDb was on the dark web.
He also said that Japan has 2,700 plus new cases this past week.
I don't know if that's a lot or a little.
With a
It's more
smiley
than I'm
face
comfort-
emoji?
Don't get me wrong. Yeah, don't get me wrong. It's more than I'm comfortable with, but I don't know if that's a lot or a little.
Yeah.
All right, skip this next story.
Okay.
Well, wait. Let's talk about Jeannie Smart for a minute. So did you finish Mayor of Easttown?
Let's talk about what for a second?
Mayor of Easttown?
Oh yeah, I watched it. I didn't love the final episode. I found it a little anticlimactic.
Well, I have a lot of problems with it, but I have so many problems with it. I'm wondering if that means I think it's good, because why would I invest so much energy in it? You know what I mean? It was really well done. But boy, the problem going on is people are confusing their love of Kate Winslet for their love of that. The character was a piece of shit.
Yeah.
I guess spoiler alerts. Maybe you should skip the next, or we don't have to talk about it. But I mean, she should be in jail. And everything's a spoiler, but she is really a incredibly selfish character that only does what works for her. Sometimes that means following the law. Almost all the time it meant not following protocol or the law, or listening to her supervising, guy.
Or planting drugs on somebody.
Well, that's what I mean. She should flat out be in jail for that.
Yeah.
And that sympathetic character, oh my God. And when she does the hardest thing in the world later, this is a drug addict, and actually puts her child first in such a selfless act, the mayor didn't even know how to react to it because it's so foreign to her. Like, I don't get that. You're not putting yourself first. I don't even know how to relate to you. I'm not going to give you a hug. I'm not going to mention that you're family, that we're always tied together because of this kid.
Yeah.
And I'm not even going to put my hand on your fucking knee as like a human gesture that you just did the hardest thing imaginable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway.
She's such a great actress, and I think they gave her a very layered character. They gave her a very unlikable character, which, because of her skills as an actress, she was able to make you watch week in and week out. And even though you're not really pulling for her, you're sort of pulling for justice in this series more than
the list is so long, but everyone is a spoiler, including the most likable character. I'll leave it at that. Then it's not a spoiler. The most likable character is killed. Mayor's fault. And then whatever. And then the ending. I guess we won't talk about the ending.
All right.
Maybe people.
Well,
still
listen.
haven't seen it. But boy, well done. And the true victim, of course, I might have said this last week, is the English language with that Philly accent.
Have you seen How To with John Wilson?
I've talked about it on here.
Holy shit, I finally watched it.
Did you see Scaffolding?
Yes.
I love it.
And it becomes a metaphor for all of us, like putting scaffolding around ourselves emotionally. He does that in such a subtle way.
And the pictures the B-roll that supports like his kind of philosophical, like, VO. Now, did you watch the last one?
No, I got to see the last about the pandemic, right?
Well, it doesn't start out that way.
No. All right.
It's very good. It's one of the best things I saw. That there's a few things out there where you could see the pandemic started during it.
Yeah.
And I'm forgetting what those are, but this was my favorite example of that. Like, how can art react to this pandemic and what happened? And
Judd Apatow, I talked to Judd Apatow about it. He called the final episode a masterpiece.
Yeah, I mean, we're building it up too much now because it really wasn't planned. That's the thing.
Right.
So lower the bar a little, and then you'll think it's a masterpiece.
We also
very
have
good.
some breaking news from this great city of St. Louis. Their golden girl, Ellie Kemper, came under fire from Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. Came under fire over Memorial Day weekend after photos resurfaced online of her participating as a beauty queen in an organization that had historically excluded Black and Jewish people. It's called the Denman Institute. Kemper was crowned.
That's a joke. The institute is called St. Louis. Oh, wait. There's a rich white problem in St. Louis?
Yeah.
Wait, they're racist and exclusionary?
Yeah.
No.
You see our big
No.
monument? You see the arch? It's the gateway to the West. Stand on the other side of it.
Yeah. East St. Louis, it's only one way. You can't come back in.
Yeah. She was crowned the Veiled Prophet Queen of Love and Beauty at a 99 ball organized by the Veiled Prophet organization, which has racist and elitist origins, according to civil rights activists who frequently picketed the event in the 60s and 70s. The then 19-year-old Kemper's association with the organization, a group consisting of wealthy white elites co-founded in 1878 by a former Confederate officer, that excluded Black and Jewish people until 1979. Shocked many on Twitter and was
By
a
the
trending
way,
topic.
way longer than that. Go ahead.
Yeah.
By the way, they say it's a veil, but it's really more like it's a hood.
It's a hood. Yeah. It's a see-through hood.
Barely see-through.
Yeah. And
They still have a little shame, just for nostalgia. They have a little bit of shame. They hide a little bit.
wow. Such a sweet girl, too.
Well, that's my stepmother, Mary Institute. That's where she went. And these elitist high schools in St. Louis, holy shit, do they take them seriously?
Will this hurt?
They bring that up before college.
Will this hurt Ellie Kemper?
I don't know. Wasn't she young and not really knowing what was going on, and they dug this up?
It's resurfaced before, but now, like everything's getting re-examined now. She was 19 years old, so I think they may cut her a little bit of slack.
She was 19, clearly desperate. I think desperate might not be the wrong word, but like intensely ambitious. Anyone who's made it as an actor or actress, generally speaking, unless they got very, very lucky, but even these people need to get lucky, are essentially willing to sell their soul. Will do anything. And I'm talking about positive things also. Will do anything and work incredibly hard to try to, get struck by lightning.
Yeah.
Which is what's needed to make it in this business. So someone's honoring her, whatever. I'm making excuses for her. Maybe that's the case. I don't know.
I think they had a cross in front of the ball, and it got struck by lightning, and it was on fire. It was weird.
Yeah, and it happened all over East St. Louis. A lot of them.
Yeah.
It's weird. Yeah.
Did you see Sons of Sam yet? Should we make that an assignment for everybody for next week?
Okay, that's a good assignment.
It's really, really good.
I need a good murder. It's been a week.
Let's do some Florida Man.
You got it. Well, I only grabbed this story because I love the headline. You can't throw a baby. Florida man accused of tossing infant at deputies after chase. It just sounded like such a Raising Arizona line. You can't throw a baby. Deputies said they spotted a Nissan Rogue that failed to maintain its lane, and when an unmarked vehicle attempted to conduct a traffic stop, the driver refused to pull over. So I've cut this story down. Get this, though. They then just gave up on it, and then they saw it later. Like when it refused to pull over, I guess in Florida, you just leave some of those alone, I guess.
Right.
Deputies then began a pursuit when they saw it again, and in the process, the driver crashed into an unmarked patrol vehicle.
What are the odds?
Shortly thereafter, he pulled into an apartment complex, bailed out of the Nissan while they keep bringing up a Nissan. By the way, I cut 3 references to Nissan. Maybe Nissan's sponsoring this story. When he bailed out of the vehicle, he was holding a small child. He's accused of running through the complex with the baby, then throwing the 2-month-old boy at a deputy who managed to catch the child.
I bet this guy was a rugby player.
Did he toss it backwards, technically, with little good spin on it
Got a
to
nice
make it
spin
easier
on
to
it.
catch?
You know, it reminds me of that Anthony Clark joke where he talks about if you go to Rome, there's a lot of gypsies and they're pickpockets. And one of the things they'll do is they'll hand you their baby so your hands are busy and then they grab your wallet. And he goes, so let that be a lesson to you. If you're in Rome and somebody tries to hand you a baby, swat it to the ground.
I don't know. I'd go a step further. Like, I don't think it was a good idea handing me a weapon because I'm going to use it. I think I'm calling your bluff. When you see your baby swinging towards your head, is it my wallet or is your baby's head that's about to smash into your head? You have two reasons to stop that baby mid-flight. Just even for yourself.
It was a good catch. I hope they got it on video. That would be a great fucking video. And it might get the guy a scholarship to Florida State.
I think Tampa has its own baby catching network.
Yeah.
You just go on there for the best baby catches every day. They round them up. Some just shoot out of the women down there, and then the doctors catch them.
That one was 6 months old. That don't count. That's too big to cuddle.
That's right.
Let's do a little international.
Oh, yeah. Italian artist Salvatore Garau, I don't know how you pronounce Garau, has just sold, wait for it, an invisible sculpture for over $18,000 US. So this Italian sculptor sold an invisible sculpture, Lo Sono, which means I am. As the artist explains, it exists, but just not in material form, and is actually more like a vacuum. And vacuum in Italian means scam. The 67, meanwhile, even if he did draw something on canvas and sell it for 18, I'm wondering if that's even isn't that the same amount of scam? It might as well be nothing. The 67-year-old went on to elaborate that, quote, the vacuum is nothing more than a space full of energy, which I think is the exact opposite definition in science of what a vacuum is. Anyway, and even if we empty it and there is nothing left, according to the Heisenberg uncertainty principle.
Breaking Bad.
That nothing, in quotes, has a weight. Therefore, it has energy that is considered and transformed into particles, that is, into us. Much like how we, quote, shape a God we've never seen.
Wow, this is like the Friends reunion.
Because it was nothing?
It's just nothing. There's nothing in there. And they got paid a lot of money.
Well, I'm glad all my unwritten screenplays, why aren't I selling them?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
There's tons of energy. I've fretted over it. I've stared at those empty pages for long periods of time.
Well, maybe you can sell it to a network without handing them anything, and they can develop it with you and give you money for a year, and this has happened to you before, re-up the same negative space the following year, pay you all over again, and ultimately nothing gets shot or done.
I didn't get paid again. I did it for respect, which carries zero value. Also, you hand in just empty pages. Even though they're empty, try to keep it to less than 120 pages. Otherwise, they're not going to want to, read it. So you get it down to a professional length movie script, and then you say you're open to notes. 120 blank pages. But by the way, this story also, I went down to the comments. These are real comments. Nice. I have an air castle for sale. Great location with a view. I wrote him an invisible check too. That was another one.
That's
but
good.
it does bring up questions. Like, I did sit with this idea and how fascinating it is. So I don't know who bought it, but it did sell. But let's say they're in America. So now they're going to ship this. They're going to ship this sculpture, which is in quotes, back to the U.S. I want to hear the call to insure it.
Right.
Standard art insurance. There's plenty of companies that do it.
Yep.
How's it going to be shipped? Is it going to be white glove shipment of this? Also, when it comes, can I then collect on insurance if I claim it's been damaged?
Right. Well,
The energy's been damaged. Look at it, obviously.
Yeah, it would be. It could save you money, because the thing about being rich is when you buy art, you're being judged by your art and how much you spent on it. And if you buy this, nobody can say that it's better or worse than something that they have. It becomes whatever you impose on it yourself, whatever meaning you impose on it yourself. I think it's kind of genius. It's not too far from those, what do you call those, NMDs or
NFTs.
NFTs?
Yeah, is it T?
Like-
Non-fungible, whatever, God.
Yeah, this is to the point where there's so much money floating around right now because, people are being paid and they're not spending money because of the pandemic, and there's all this liquid cash, and the world is just coming up with ways that you can waste it.
Well, yeah. By the way, I still own AMC. We're not in the business side, but holy crap, what a turnaround that thing made. Jeez. Thank God I was only too lazy, and it wasn't even lazy. I didn't want to revisit my bad decision. So what I do with a lot of bad decisions is I do nothing, kind of like this sculptor.
Right.
And but boy, my bad decisions have energy, unlike this sculpture. And so I stayed away and just avoided AMC, and it's up, whatever over.
I think it doubled last week.
And from the week before where it doubled, it's up over like 400% or something.
It is. I'll tell you right now. It is at $48 right now.
I bought it at 14 or 13, I think.
Okay.
But I bought it high because it's up over 3,000% year to date.
It dipped a little bit at the end of the week. It's down to 48. It was as high as 67 on the day before.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Anyway, this sculptor, also, couldn't you be like, oh my God, this is a counterfeit? Now that I have it in my place, I have an artist friend, and he's pointed out this is a total ripoff.
Yeah.
This has been done.
It is. It's literally the king has no clothes. It's exactly that. The emperor has no clothes.
Yes, it really is. All right.
All right. Let's talk. Let's go
More
to
new clothes.
Let's go to India.
There we go.
This is the greatest story of all time. In
Did
a
I put
series
this in
of
here? Okay,
unfortunate
go ahead.
events,
Yeah.
a groom married the sister of his bride after she collapsed and died at the wedding ceremony. The woman named Subari married a man named Mangesh Kumar. They were tying the knot in a Hindu cemetery ceremony. During the exchanging of garlands by the bride and the groom, Subari collapsed and a doctor was called to treat her after she suffered a heart attack. She was pronounced dead. The families of the bride and groom agreed the bride's younger sister, Nisha, would wed the groom. In case of the Pudar Pradesh wedding, the families decided to go ahead with the ceremony while Subari's body laid in another room. We have never witnessed such mixed emotions, Subari's uncle Ajab Singh told News 18. The grief over her death and the happiness of the wedding has yet to sink in. Aw, the bride is crying. Yeah,
Don't forget that happiness. That's the mixed part. Otherwise, it would just be an unfortunate day. where the bride died on the altar.
Yeah. Yeah, the sister throws the bouquet, somebody catches it, puts it on the grave.
I have a feeling she wasn't totally dead, but here's the deal. Most, I read a statistic, 90% of marriages are arranged in India. And whatever it is, it's very high. Even if
It's 90. Yeah, that is what it is.
Oh, okay. So is that in the story? Did I just not listen?
No, I think it was in the story, and then I edited it out for time.
So this guy gets to the arranged thing. Maybe he's met her once before, whatever it is, and they're getting married. Then he sees the sister who's a smoke show, and he's like, oh, my God. This one starts choking on something. It's like, don't, just let her. Just let her.
Yeah.
She's in the other room. She's not even dead yet. But it's like, no, let's move on.
Yeah.
How sad. How tragic. Yes, I'll take the sister.
I'll take Punjab.
Oh, well, okay. I don't know if that's her name.
Yeah,
but boy,
that is insane. I mean, if Erin had died on our wedding day and her sister was there, I think I might have done it just because we spent so much for that fucking hall, and the band was impossible to get.
Is Erin's sister married? Would you also have to arrange a divorce on site?
Yes.
All right.
She was single. Would you? Liz's sister's cute. You could have married her.
Oh, Liz's sister, yeah. Liz and her sister are both very cute.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, she had a sister. I guess that's your point. So there was a potential. She also had a good-looking brother.
Go all the way. Well, in India, then that would be 3 ceremonies. It would be the wedding, the funeral, and the stoning. All right, let's do some sports.
All right. Oh, boy. Should we be excited about this fight?
You are more than me, so why don't you read it?
Miami. Floyd Mayweather and Logan Paul got their first up-close look at each other during Fight Week on Thursday. Mayweather, the undefeated 50-0 former boxing champion, and Paul, who is 0, he also has a 0-1 YouTube star, will partake in an 8-round exhibition Sunday. Mayweather is 44. Paul is 26. They held a pre-fight face-off. It was intense and then ratcheted up a notch when Mayweather stepped to Paul as he tried to pull away. Those staring contests are sort of BS.
Yeah, they're pretty lame.
Wouldn't like a coward be really good at that? Because maybe that's what he's good at, like, staring unblinking.
When the guy, you ever see when a guy kisses the other guy and then he punches him in the face? That's happened a few times.
It's a real violation. Yeah, you've touched him first in the form of a kiss. But yeah. But I do know that when I would watch those Tyson, I would blink. Like those Tyson weigh-ins. Or when it's really uncomfortable is the getting instructions seconds before the bell. Getting instructions in the center of the ring from the ref, and you're just staring at each other. But I've seen real champions who don't do that. Does Conor McGregor not do it? Chris would know.
Conor does it, but yeah, some people look down in a way. I think Foreman used to look down.
Well, he had real confidence issues, which Ali tapped into.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah. No, I think.
All right, Devin
Tyson
says repeat the question. The question was, there's some champ I have memory of, either a great boxer or fighter, who really didn't engage in that stare down when there were read instructions from the ref in the ring, right before the first punches.
Denman wrote, Heath Herring, UFC fighter, KO'd his opponent before the fight started after being kissed. Also, there were no Jews in the building? What? Which building?
Oh, 9/11.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I got it. Right.
Tower 7.
We just have to accept that he's an okay producer. He's the one that gets our audio levels. He keeps them surprising, so you keep listening.
Yeah, and he does this thing which is kind of fun, where when I post my Fitzdog Radio podcast, he puts the Sunday Paper podcast up by accident this week.
And he doesn't have an answer to the fighter question. All right, Chris, since you're typing in here, type us your prediction, Floyd or Logan. So they're doing
And what round? It's an 8-round
He's saying Floyd.
exhibition.
Floyd
in the first round. I think
Whoa.
absolutely.
No.
Yeah.
But wait, Floyd's not known as an attacker.
Oh, he's much bigger. Yeah, that's right. He's way bigger.
Oh, no. Paul is way bigger. He's over 200 pounds, and he has like 4 inches on him, maybe more.
I think he's got 4 inches on him.
But boy, that would. All right, I got it. I know you keep repeating. He just wants to get it over. Okay, hold on. You ready, Chris? Get ready to type to this question. Wouldn't this true or false? Wouldn't this be a new fighting style for Mayweather?
Punching up. You're
But
supposed to punch up. Never punch down.
I go true or false. He writes, yes, he's a defensive fighter, right?
This is so much fun because I fucking love Mayweather and I hate Logan Paul, and it's just so much fun. I'll pay the money to watch him beat this guy's ass. It's gonna just be so cathartic.
He KO'd a kickboxer in a similar freak fight in Japan in the first round. Interesting. But, with O'Connor, he really let O'Connor run out of energy,
Are we going over to Gibbons's to watch the fight on Sunday?
We were invited over there. He also has new codes for us to get the booster shot ahead of all minorities. So I wanted to get that early because now they've caught on. So we got to be way ahead of the poor, more deserving people.
I think I'll also stop by the golf course on the way over there and pick up the clubs that he threw across the fairway when he lost his temper.
By the way, he's been hitting him pretty good.
He can hit the ball really far when he gets into it.
No, but also those chip shots, like right near the hole, whatever you guys scream when it's in the air.
He won a lot of money on the chips the other day. I'm glad I wasn't playing for money.
What's this? Check out the YouTube stream for Gubbins Photo and IG. Oh, that's right. When they produce this podcast and put it on YouTube, this is the podcast currently listening to right now. I guess when we talk about Gubbins, we throw his picture up there. And by we, I mean St. Louis, when they're not, having fun racist parties.
I am going to give you Gubbins's Twitter account.
Twitter? Isn't it IG?
Oh, Instagram?
It's called White People Head of the Line at
Dennis
Gubbins time.
Gubbins.
No, I don't know what it is. Oh, that's a burp.
Dennis Gibbons.
So there's also some good fights on this card, but boy, I think they start early West Coast time.
Oh,
D-Gubs.
D-Gubs, D-G-U-B-S on Instagram.
D-Gubs on Instagram. If you need a vaccine, if you're white and you have health care and you really should let other people get a vaccine first, but you don't want to, contact at D-Gubs.
If you want to congratulate him on his ability to finagle the system, because fuck the system, man. Fuck the man.
Yeah.
Should we do a quick science? Let's do a science story.
Okay. Didn't we do that with space aliens and everything earlier? What do we got? Oh, down
Science.
here? Oh. This just in. The invisible sculpture technically has no mass, and that's according to all scientists who said, quote, it's nothing. That's all.
All right, let's do some business.
Yeah.
Bitcoin is falling.
Don't I know it?
It's down to $38 right now, $38,000 right now. When we
still
started
high.
tracking it, it was at 64. So
I bought it in the low. Well, I bought a thing that tracked it because I'm a boomer apparently. which I'm not technically. And I bought it at like $43. But it's down now, though. I can tell you. BT, what a... I really
If you put BI
I should know what I'm
into
talking about,
Google,
so I
if you type BI into Google, Bitcoin price comes up as like the first thing.
Really?
Yeah. It's
Oh.
all people are tracking. And my chiropractor, who is, he's kind of an off-the-grid guy. He's a little bit like Eastern medicine, and he does weird stuff like you lay on your back. If you have a problem in your leg, you lay on your back on the table, and then he puts a vial of homeopathic medicine on your belly button, and then it tells you to push your arm up, and he tries to push it down. And based on your strength, he can tell you how you're reacting to the... So he's that guy. But he started buying Bitcoin when it was like whatever, in the hundreds. And so he's got tons of it now, but he keeps buying more and more and more. And I'm kind of worried about him. He's like ready to move to Florida and because there's no income tax and get out of the business.
So wait, you're worried about a health practitioner who puts a vial of voodoo in your navel?
Yeah, he'll always make a living. That's
Yeah,
Those are real skills.
I wouldn't worry about that guy. He's set for life, I think.
yeah.
So I bought GBTC, which you can buy just like a stock. That's the ticker symbol, Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. So I bought it in the low 40s, and it went up above 60 or whatever. So it's currently at $30.90.
Oh.
It's only a 25% loss, which is better than I usually do. So all good.
Dogecoin is back up to 40 cents. It went down to 35. It's back to 40 this week. But I'm hearing a lot of chatter that it is. What's that?
37 cents, which is significant.
Right now
That's
it's
like
at 37.
An 8% drop. Yeah.
Okay. On the Investopedia, no big news there, except for there's a guy named The Last Jimbo who suddenly has, you ready for this? Everybody started with 100,000. The previous leader was up at 200,000 for like the last 2 months we've been doing this competition. The Last Jimbo has $385,000. He must have bought shit on margin or futures or something weird.
Huh.
So I'd love to know what his portfolio is. Maybe we should start picking up stuff from that. New guy in last place, VTB Man, is down to $17,000.
I'm at 89.
I'm at 96.
Yeah.
And
All
we
right.
gotta check
Once
on
again,
Olivia.
I would be rewarded for doing nothing. I'd be up 11,000 from where I am now.
Yep. Let's do this day in history.
We can certainly do that.
Big day today, June 6th, 1944.
A day that will live in infamy.
That's right.
A
Eisenhower.
date. I think it's called a date that will live in infamy.
Eisenhower
that's
gives the
right.
go-ahead for
It's a joke.
the largest amphibious military operation in history, Operation Overlord, commonly known as D-Day. By daybreak,
What's amazing is D-Day is one of the greatest names of all time. And you're like, well, it can't compete with whatever operation they maybe technically called it. Operation Overlord is so badass also.
Yeah.
Like those two names, boy, America used to be great. Trump's right. Those two names fucking kick ass.
Yeah, Operation Overlord sounds like a giant shadow comes over the beach before the ships start to arrive.
It sounds like George Lucas had that in mind when he was writing about the dark side.
Yeah, there was a cold wind blew in and a shadow, and then the ships arrived. So 18,000 British and American parachutists were already on the ground. 18,000 people parachuted in. And then 13,000 aircraft were mobilized for air cover and support. The troops came ashore at Utah and Omaha beaches. They captured the beaches. The task was tougher at Omaha Beach because where the U.S. 1st Division battled high seas, missed mines, burning vehicles, and German coastal batteries, including an elite infantry division, which spewed heavy fire. Many wounded Americans ultimately drowned in the high tide. British divisions which landed at Gold, Juno, and Sworded beaches, and Canadian troops also met with heavy German fire. By the end of the day, 155 1,000 Allied troops, American, British, and Canadians, had successfully stormed Normandy's beaches and were then able to push inland. Within 3 months, the northern part of France would be freed, and the invasion force would be prepared to enter Germany, where they met up with the Soviet forces, and that was it. That was the beginning of the end.
It's insane.
Yep. It's insane because, I mean, you said that Saving Private Ryan, that scene of them storming the beach, you got to put it in the top 5 battle scenes in any movie in history.
I was in the movie theater and I did not realize I was ducking. I eventually my neck started hurting. I'm like, what? And I'm like, oh, and I realized my position was my head was jammed as far down in my body as it could as I watched that scene.
Yep. The sound of bullets was so I shouldn't say lifelike because I haven't really been around a bullet, but the effect of the metal hitting, the metal bullet hitting like the sides of the ship or the helmets, was amazing.
And of course, I told you. So I mean, we watched it actually last year. We watched it on Veterans Day, and because someone like, hey, it's, and it was anyway. I read like it was a good suggestion, so we watched it. But I told you, after that unbelievable scene, when there's calm, Spielberg's camera pans across the water, the red tide, lapping on the shore, and you see bodies and all this. And my daughter's like, do you think they really killed all those fish? That was what broke the silence and awe in my living room, because among the dead bodies were fish bodies also floating from all the the rounds and explosions in the water and the mines and everything. Yeah. Like, what did it take me out of it? You couldn't have said another line which would have taken me out of it as much as that line. It was incredible. Yeah. Also, the next line, again, a lot's going on in this movie, and all of a sudden it's like, there's so much to say. Like, if I was a kid watching this for the first time, and they didn't even really know about D-Day, my first line wouldn't be, is that Vin Diesel?
Yeah, right.
That was Olivia's first line.
Yeah. I think you should do a TV show like Mr. Science Theater 3000, but just with your daughters watching important movies and the things that they say.
Yeah.
Like
Birth of a Nation. I kind of like this movie. I like this director's views.
Yeah.
Just totally inappropriate.
All right. All right, let's do a Dear Amy.
Oh, we have some of those. Oh, I found another one too. Oh, and then, oh God, I haven't worked in a while. We should have done a deep tease at the beginning that we're going to get to this Family Circus situation. We put out the call to caption that thing. So I got
right.
I got a lot of responses. So maybe we skip Dear Amy this week because we have a lot of Family Circus.
All right, let's get to that. All right, so let's hit the letters to the editor. Joanne, once again, crush on us, not fading. This woman is committed.
Yeah, she's
every week.
She's dedicated.
This guy says, my name is David Cholden, and I attend a boarding school in Denmark. My father and I have been longtime fans. I would just like to tell you that I got the rest of boarding school hooked on the show. I will pass by the gym and hear the podcast, or when people are high, they listen to you guys. You can rest easy knowing a whole boarding school listens and talks about you guys in Denmark. How amazing is that?
That's crazy. Yeah, I went to boarding school.
I didn't
go to a Danish boarding school. That sounds whiter than white hot white to me.
I was in Denmark for 2 months when I was like 18 years old, and we met a bunch of Danes who had come to the States, and they stayed at my friend Pete's house, and so we lived with them for like a month, and we brought them into the city, and we got them high, and we got them laid, and so then we went over to Denmark, and they put us up for like a couple months in this town called Vejle, which is like a small town in western Denmark, and it was wintertime, and we just had such an adventure, and I had sex with Danish models.
Oh, women?
Why do you have to spoil it?
What do you mean spoil it?
His name was Hans, but he was all Hans.
He's a fucking model, dude. He's ripped. Like these gay guys in the gym at this gay boarding school.
I don't think.
First of all, Denmark is so ahead of it, and it's totally cool. We're being positive. He didn't write this, but I looked it up. This is a gay boarding school.
There is no such thing as a non-gay boarding school, and it doesn't count. It's like being in prison.
They thought the volleyball scene in what's the Tom Cruise movie? Oh Jesus!
Top Gun.
Yeah, was like not gay enough. The Top Gun, they're like, they're watching it coming in from their own volleyball game where it's like they don't even wear shorts, just shirts. It's the exact opposite.
All right,
I'll pass by the gym. Oh my God, when they're all in there. All right, guys, keep it going. Forget leg day. It's total bullshit.
Come
Just
on,
fucking
one more
beef
set.
up.
In, tai, tre, fem, fu, soda, unda, ti.
That's not real what you just did.
In, tu, tre, fer, fem, suda, ni. That's 1 through 9.
That's the ugliest. Imagine a countdown to a liftoff, like with their. That's why Denmark has no space program. That countdown would sound like gibberish. It's awful.
Ed
Wait, what
Richter
kind of
said, I
letters?
heard.
So many numbers are just universal. Like, we just tweak them a little bit. What are those numbers?
Which numbers?
Give me the number 3 in Danish.
Tre.
With a TR in the beginning?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's your pronunciation then. Okay.
Tre.
Never mind Denmark. Never mind Denmark. You should have a space program. And these gay high school students are going to they'll be the best astronauts. They can keep a secret,
Yeah.
obviously.
What? I get into the spaceship stuffed in with 4 other men? When do we leave?
What do you mean my suit has no little escape hatch in the back? How am I going to have poop or other things? By the way, I'm nailing this Danish accent.
Yeah.
Great Danes.
Ed Richter said, I heard you guys discussing a 2-year-old's admission to Mensa on the most recent Sunday papers. Mensa charges $79 for a test required for admission. Once a person is in, Mensa collects an additional annual membership fee. The reward is that after shelling out all that dough, a person can hang out with other people who paid $79 for a test and then pay an annual membership fee. How dumb does a person have to be to join Mensa? Sounds like somebody didn't get into Mensa. Jesus.
Is this guy a little late on his dues? What's happening?
Dude, if I could walk around and tell people I was in Mensa, I would probably make enough money that I could afford the $79.
$79, that's 3 drinks in Santa Monica. You don't think I'd pay that to become a member of Mensa?
Yeah.
Also, let's talk about the pricing. So you're on the board of Mensa, which, I'm assuming you're a genius if you are. And you don't think the geniuses are going to see through your little pricing of $79, that trick where it's not
right.
80, it's
Right.
not 80, it's 79?
And when
I
you
don't
have
think
that automatic annual fee whacked out of your credit card, you don't think they're going to catch on?
Yeah, it's so simple. All you have to do is cancel it. Yeah.
Dude, I got to cancel some credit cards. I have so many recurring annual fees that I'll notice once in a while. It's like, holy shit, I have Showtime? Holy shit, I have, like right off the top of my head, I pay Consumer Reports annual fee.
Still.
I pay IMDb Pro,
Yeah.
Netflix, Amazon
Yeah.
Prime, Hulu.
You're on the wait list for Mensa.
Waitlist for Mensa. I paid them $78. I'm on a time pro. Whatchamacallit. I'm
well,
so
lucky for you, Mambla is only $129 a month. Manbla. They couldn't come up with a better name. What does it stand for? Man boy?
No, it's NAMBLA, North
NAMBLA.
American Man Boy Love Association. So only in North America.
I think that's the name of the boarding school in Denmark also.
Was ist NAMBLA? Is it on the left?
There's the Danish accent. Who are we playing today? Oh, we're playing Nanbla. Oh, fuck those guys. All right.
Obituaries. We got to hit a couple here.
And that's all, folks.
because this guy Mike from Bainbridge Island said that we failed to mention the late great Charles Grodin. So we let's give him an honorable mention.
David Choden also just died. He was beaten up by those gay guys in the gym at his boarding school for outing his school like this and us attacking them. By the way, we are not using gay as an insult. If they're taking it that way, they have a problem.
You have a problem with it. We're just pointing out that when a building full of boys that are going through puberty together spend long periods of time making cheese, things happen.
After the 4th year you're in your boys' boarding school, you then have to say you're experimenting with girls, not the other way around. That's the experiment, females, not yourselves. By the way, if there are any gay guys in that school, I guess I kind of apologize. This has all been obviously a very big joke. But I love the idea that all of you are gay. That's what I'm going to cling to.
Grodin's early notable roles include Rosemary's Baby, Catch-22, The Heartbreak Kid, Heaven Can Wait, Seems Like Old Times, The Great Muppet Caper, The Lonely Guy, The Couch Trip, and of course, Midnight Run.
Oh my God.
Yeah. They say that during Midnight
These
Run,
things go down.
he spent so much time in handcuffs, he ended up with permanent scars on his wrists.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That movie, man, that was great. You just, Joey Pants, you just had on your podcast.
Oh, yeah.
He was amazing in that.
Yeah, that's right.
Wasn't he the pawnbroker?
Right, exactly. I think that was like his first role.
And then the guy from Chicago was in it who stole the show, who became a real friend of, I'm bringing him up again, Kilborn's show. What's his name? Frank, was it? Come on. He died, sadly, like 6 or 7 years ago. I'll look him up. He's in Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, Chicago accent. He was a real police officer in Chicago.
Oh, not
we used to see him in Mastro's Steakhouse.
not Chaz Palminteri?
No. What's the name of the movie again?
Midnight Run?
Yeah, but I won't do it that way. Here we go. We'll Google cough it up. Police officer, Chicago actor. Do you think it'll pop up?
No.
You don't?
No.
Fucking first result, Dennis Farina.
Oh, yeah. Well, he was on NYPD Blue or Homicide?
He might have then taken one of them, but oh my God. He was so funny, dude. Pinky ring, Chicago, the real Chicago accent.
Yeah.
I'm going to take this pen and stick it in your fucking eyeball. Remember, he was hysterical.
Yeah, he was great.
Am I confusing it? Was he in that movie or am I too locked, stock, and too smoking
I know
barrels?
he was in one of those cop shows because John Mulaney does a great bit about, I don't know if it's about him specifically, but like that character.
You pay a subscription to IMDb. You should be looking this shit up.
I know.
All right, let me see. He's in that though, right? I used to know the name too of the guy whose eyeball he's going to stick the pencil in because it's part of the quote.
And then in the 90s, he was in the Beethoven's franchise, Clifford. And then
Holy shit, what a coincidence. He was in Saving Private Ryan. I forgot about that.
Oh, no shit. Really?
Get Shorty.
Yeah, that's right.
Turns out we're doing his obituary.
Yeah.
Romeo is Bleeding. Street Crimes. Is that one of the series you're thinking about?
No.
Perfect Crimes. He's in a lot of shows. Miami Vice. Midnight Run. Jimmy Serrano.
There you go.
Yeah.
Gavin McLeod died. He was Captain Merrill Steubing on the Love Boat.
He was the worst character.
He really was.
Mary Tyler Moore. And the Love Boat, I don't know. You hated him like you'd hate a boss. He was just a boring boss, all Mr. Rules. He just wanted Gopher to be Gopher, but he couldn't.
He was the Mickey Mouse to the Love Boat, the character that has no charisma and yet somehow is the center of the show.
He kind of played, oh God, I'm talking about gays too much, but his character on Mary Tyler Moore, I'm wondering if that was, they weren't allowed to say it at the time, but I'm wondering if he was, or was he married?
No, he was married.
He was?
Yep. He was the put-upon husband.
Oh, all right.
Yep.
So he was a cuck. not gay. That's a totally different thing.
Here's another death that hits close to home for me. Buddy Van Horn, who was Clint Eastwood's stuntman for fucking how many years? 50 years?
All right.
So this guy, I was playing golf one day with my buddy Jackie Flynn, and we were late getting to the tee. And so the starter, we're at this public course where they pair you up. If you show up with 2 people, they pair you up with 2 other people.
Yeah.
So me and Jackie are late to the tee, and so the starter announces on the loudspeaker, Fitzsimmons and Flynn on the tee now for the 10-20. And we get there, and there's this guy, this tough-looking, ornery, leather-skinned, tough guy. And he goes, you guys want to fucking show up on time next time?
No.
And we were both like, whoa. And so then he stands up there and he does that old man swing where the body barely moves, but
Yeah.
just out of sheer anger, he slaps it out there about 220. And so he kind of doesn't talk to us for the first couple holes. And then he warms up, because me and Jackie are joking around.
Yeah.
And by the back 9, we're best friends. And we found out that he's Clint Eastwood's stunt double, and that he also was I think he worked as a director on a couple of his movies
No,
as
he
well.
did.
Yeah.
You have it here. He was directed. He was a director for Malpaso, whatever.
He
Clint Eastwood's production company.
Any Which Way But Loose, The
Yep.
Deadpool, The Pink Cadillac. So Clint is an extremely loyal guy. And this guy had started with him, and you could tell he's the kind of man's man that Clint Eastwood would love,
Yeah, and his little temper on the golf course is very in line with Clint as well. Did you hear George Lopez, who plays a lot of golf, and he would go up and he'd play, and he owned a house on Pebble Beach. But Clint Eastwood has a club up there, a golf club, and near Carmel, obviously. And some woman was complaining a lot about the golf course and the membership and blah, 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 blah. And Clint Eastwood walked out to where she was on the golf course, and he wrote her a check and told her to get the fuck out. He wrote her a check reimbursing her for her membership and told her to get the fuck off the course.
That's great. He was the mayor of that town for a little while, of Carmel.
Yeah, it sure was.
Yeah.
I may not have this right, but I think he was like either anti or he mocked that they had to put a wheelchair ramp to get into the to the courtroom or to the like town
Clubhouse.
hall or city hall. Yeah, no.
To City
this
Hall?
This is his governor. This is way worse than a private club. This is when he was not governor. This is when he was mayor of Carmel, and it was about putting a ramp, I think, into City Hall.
That's great.
We should look it up. Anyway.
All right, let's cheer up, Mike. Let's do some funnies.
Okay.
Elliot James wrote in and he said, I have not been able to actually find anything on YouTube, but I am sure that Chris Elliott went on Late Night with David Letterman and read Family Circus a time or two on the show. Of course, they were just as bad back then, but Elliott would pretend they were funny and heartwarming. Not saying you stole the bit. I think one would have to be pretty hardcore Letterman fan with no social life to remember when he did that.
All right. I was a pretty hardcore Letterman fan without a social life. I don't remember it. I wouldn't be surprised if he did. I mean, it's kind of a popular device. Like, I remember Odenkirk had a great bit where he was chewing gum. Did you ever see him do this? Like
No.
in a club? He's like chewing gum and like telling you this story, and you slowly realize he's reading the Bazooka Joe comics, and that's the story he's telling.
Dude.
And his mouth is full of gum by the end.
I am not making this up. Michael Keaton on Evening at the Improv in 1980 did a bit where he walked on stage, opened up Bazooka Joe comics, and read them on stage as his set.
Yep. So it's a popular device. I love, but making fun, I realize I am not the first to this. Well, I just can't believe, even after it's been addressed, how unbelievably bad it is.
Yeah.
Anyway, and that paper is still printed. I mean, how many people have famously made fun of it? It's in that movie, whatever that Go or whatever that movie was. Like, it's documented. And if Chris Elliott was doing it on network television, I mean, yeah.
All right, let's do a little bit of Lockhorns. Loretta is standing there. She has on a red striped polo shirt and blue sailing pants. And Leroy's talking to his friend, and he goes, Loretta's shopped at Old Navy so often, she should qualify for veterans benefits. You got to see the outfit, though. It's classic cheeseball Old Navy wear.
Yeah. He should be happy. She's not spending much shopping.
Sweet moment with Hagar the Horrible. He's with his wife. And the daughter says to the wife, hey, when did you realize you were going to marry Daddy? And the wife says, when he invaded my village and drove away every eligible man. And then Hagar hugs her and says, is that romantic or what? No, I think it's genocide. Followed probably by rape.
It's also, if I was tuning in, I'd be like, are these two sisters talking and one of them married their dad? Like, how do I know the backstory?
Yeah, right. I like the daughter's outfit. She's got those little bee cups. She's got like
they are like they're like coconut shells.
Yeah. All right, let's hit some Family Circus. Now, what did we do last week? What did we ask for?
Oh Lord. So let me find it. So we told the listeners I would put on my Instagram a Family Circus and remove the caption and ask people to caption it. So the caption was the dad sitting in a chair and the little kid comes up showing playing cards, and the little obnoxious kid's mouth is open, so he's talking to the dad. And then I took off the caption, and so he's just holding up cards. So we got a lot of comments. A lot of people captioned it.
Okay.
So I'll read some. But then, I'll get to that part in a second. So, Mommy said cards are the reason I visit you every other weekend. It's kind of funny.
That's good.
That is a good one. Jonelle wrote, I don't know. I'm not gonna credit these people. You can go to my Instagram and see who wrote these. I got you more cards because Mom is always saying your deck is tiny.
Ah.
That wouldn't be in it. Oh, there's a lot of very racist ones because the kid is showing these black cards.
Right.
So of course, internet comments, very racist. Daddy, I know you hate blacks, whatever. Is this my birthday card? So some of them really wrote it like, could it be actually a good one that Jeff Keane could have written?
Right. Now.
So something like that is, go fish. I don't see a fish card. That would have even been better than the piece of garbage that this guy has here.
Right.
Okay. Daddy, I know you've been crying about a Full House since Mommy left. That's a pretty good one. Then there's, let's see. Another, coincidentally, small deck one. Daddy, which one is the race card? That's the least racist racial one we got. I had thought, and a lot of people wrote this, Daddy, is this my card? I thought that would be a clever one that could be in the newspaper.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, tons. You can go on my Instagram to see everybody's guesses, but I wanted to
Your
move on to more.
Instagram, by the way, is at Gibbons Time, 2 B's.
There's a professional. There you go. I'm trying to think if there was anyone else that I liked. Okay. Anyway, so the real caption was, I'll play cards with you, Daddy, but you keep score. I don't know my numbers.
Unbelievable. That is shocking. I mean, these people that are getting on Instagram, they're not qualified. Their father didn't do Family Circus for 30 years before they took it over, so they were literally mentored into the job.
Everyone that people wrote me, including the racist ones, are better.
Every single one is 5 times better. Unbelievable.
Okay. What's worse is this. I then wanted to find the image quickly before we started the podcast today. So I Googled Family Circus cards numbers because I remembered what the stupid joke was. Guess what popped up? The one on the right. Can you see it?
Yep.
It's 2 kids and the dog going up to the dad who's sitting in the same green chair and goes, "We'll play cards with you, Daddy, but," and then the caption is, "We don't know our numbers, so you'll have to keep score and tell us when we win."
Wow. Wait, now that says it's by Jeff Keane, and the other one said it's by Jeff. Oh no, yeah.
What? That's insane. Like
he doesn't give the year. It says 525 on one and 311 on the other.
It's
doesn't say the year.
But like that means this bad idea came to Jeff Keane twice, and he's like, "Yep, print it."
Yep.
Like, you had a second chance to be like, maybe I should roll up one sleeve and actually write something. Let me spend 40 seconds thinking of something to write.
Yeah.
Nope. He refuses.
Unbelievable.
He refuses to do that. So
wow.
Someone then, this is the last thing I'll do on Family Circus. Someone then sent us one that appeared this week. It was during this week. It was in the paper. I saw it. And I was going to bring it to your attention, but someone emailed it in. Do you see the little shitty redheaded kid is in a picture
Billy.
with a cat?
His name is Billy.
In a picture with his cat. And he's rubbing the cat's back with a back scratcher. Right? Like the monkey's paw, whatever those little things are that you buy. A little hand, wooden back scratcher. And I went down to be like, all right, what piece of garbage is Jeff Keane going to mail in? What's he going to say here? Nothing.
Nothing. It speaks for itself.
There's no caption.
Yeah.
That's just it. I
think he feels like he gives so much that once in a while we have to just respect that he's going to do like a kind of an off-speed pitch, throw you just a sweet moment without any humor.
Well, but they sell things that you rub your animals with because they like the feel of it. Like what? It's you know what? The sculpture. You know what it is? Jeff Keane was way ahead of this Italian sculptor. Every week, Jeff Keane, every day creates something that's nothing.
It's a negative space. It's a vacuum.
It's a vacuum. It's the opposite of matter.
Right.
It's beyond something that matter. There's no matter. No matter.
It is. I think the guy truly wants to retire. His wife won't let him, and so he's writing the worst comic strips he can until he gets fired. But somehow he's struck a chord with Middle America, and they're celebrating it.
And by the way, when I saw the cat thing, I'm like, honestly, no caption. And then I was like, oh my God, look at this one. Do you see this shitty kid holding the like terracotta pot that you plant plants in outside? This pot isn't any good. It has a hole in it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, why not just have like the spoon in your kitchen that has holes in it? Like, this spoon doesn't work. It has holes in it. Like, just pick anything that's designed that way that a stupid kid, like, oh my God.
Right.
All right. Okay.
All right.
Oh boy.
You get it out of your system, Mike, for the week?
I don't know. That Italian author, maybe it's a giant artistic commentary on Family Circus.
Right.
It's worth more than $80,000. $18,000 then, I think. I'm done.
All right, listen, Dagwood is driving me fucking crazy lately. I mean, first of all, there is so much emphasis on Dagwood. When you go through the comics because I look at the whole week and I pick the one that I love, hate the most. And they're so filled with Dagwood at work. Nobody fucking cares about Dagwood with his stupid red bow tie being yelled at by Mr. whatever his name is. He's inept. He's boring. We get it. There's no comedy to be mined from seeing Dagwood at work. We want to be home with fucking Blondie. So he's at work, and the boss says, I hereby propose to award a bonus. Everybody's smiling. And then he goes, to anyone who can give me 8 hours of uninterrupted work for one whole day. And now everybody looks kind of shell-shocked. He walks in the door in the third frame, and here's Blondie. and she's got on sort of like a Kelly green top, short sleeve, bosom protruding, black velvet skirt. You know the look, right above the knee.
Oh,
She looks, and her posture, the way she stands up, she presents the bosom well, slight bend in the knee to accentuate the buttocks, which you can see, even though it's kind of angled from the front, you can still see the curve of her ass. And she says to him, this fucking zero, she says, well, bonus. He says, looks like we're not getting squat. Because you can't work an 8-hour day for this fucking goddess who cooks you dinner, who stands while you eat, who watches TV while you bring him snacks, and you're not going to work 8 hours so she can buy herself a fucking dress? Fuck you. How about you're not getting squat out of this fucking pussy either, Dagwood?
and wouldn't a better line have been like return the couch or return the TV?
Yeah.
Just saying. No,
Right.
I'm still Jeff Keening it.
Yeah, no, you can't punch up Blondie because the premise is just, it makes me too angry. Just the idea that he can't appreciate it. Please animate me, God. In my next life, animate me and let me go into that comic strip and make a cuck out of that fool.
Oh boy. Yeah, there were a lot of people snuck the cuck thing into the Family Circus contest also.
All right, listen, Mike.
Okay.
I think you really carried this one. I have to thank you. I was out late last night and up early this morning. And
I don't complain about low energy anymore since that letter. Nailed it.
No, you had. Did you take Ritalin today?
I can't remember.
I think you did.
No, but I had a coffee, remember?
Oh, that's
and I'm
right.
off coffee. I'm off coffee. So
No,
I haven't had one.
you were on fire today. It was
I haven't
very
had one
good.
in a few days. Sure. Well, some things worked us up a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
Also, when I think about all those boys at that Danish boarding school, the juice is flowing.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
All right, well, listen, people, don't forget, check out Fitzdog Radio on Tuesdays. We got some good guests coming up. Annie Letterman is on this week. And then also cameos are available. Go to the Cameo app, and I'll send you a message. And that's it.
I bet you're going to make some for a Danish boarding school.
I will bring out my old. I can still say "Godt Nytår," which is Happy New Year, and "Jeg taler ikke dansk," which means I can't speak Danish.
That's more useful, in my honest opinion, my humble opinion, than Happy New Year. It seems like you'll use that one more than Happy New Year.
I was there on New Year's, Christmas and New Year's.
I'm hoping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Skal vi dansk means shall we dance? Would you like to dance with me?
I could have told you that. All right, give me another one, and I'll tell you what it is.
I think that's all I know.
Just give me another one.
Okay, jeg taler ikke dansk.
My roommate is inside me. I just needed a setup.
Mike, I'll see you in a few hours at my house. We'll take some pictures of the girls getting dressed.
You got the champagne. I'm bringing the flowers. This happens every Saturday night, regardless of prom.
I love it. It's a new trend. We want to
Alrighty.
thank our friends over at Midcoast Media, Chris Denman, Beth Hoops, and Key, who are doing an amazing job on the show. We appreciate it and respect it.
Money
And,
in the bank. First round. And it's, Mayweather, first round.
I
Put
love
all
it.
your money on
Don't
it.
forget,
Courtney
like us, follow us on Apple Podcasts. Tell your friends about the podcast. Let's blow it up this year. All right.
Oh, yeah. Let's do it.
All right. We'll see you next week.
Take it, Ish.
Take it, Ish.
Sunday, Sunday,
Sunday papers with Reagan Mike.
Sunday, Sunday,
Fuck yourself, go take a hike.
Sunday, Sunday,
We don't need no facts, we don't get it right.
Sunday, Sunday.
Blondie looks good, that ass looks tight.